Thank you so much, and thank you all for attending. I'm Katie Chartier. I'm the Assistant Director of the First Year Experience at College of the Desert. Also with us today is our Dean of Counseling, Amanda Phillips. And we will go ahead and get started. Can you see my screen okay? Perfect. So today we're going to be going through a little bit of background and history on how we created our EDGE and now PIEDGE programs. We'll take you through the start of it, why we started, how we adjusted using data and student feedback, and where we are today in this online environment. We'll also go through student outcomes and student voices. So originally why we started our EDGE program, which was a traditional summer bridge, was because of students testing into developmental coursework. So as we all know, a majority of students test into developmental education, and at College of the Desert, our numbers were much higher in math and English than the California average. Another reason we started this program was because of the low educational attainment in our service area. These three bars show our educational attainment in our school districts, and you can see the orange bar is high school graduate, no associates, which is the highest in all three of our school districts. So we wanted to address students preparing for college level coursework and accessing education and raising educational attainment in our service area. So we started the program as a Title V HSI Pilot in 2012, and this was a traditional summer bridge test, retest model. It was 3 weeks, and students did math and English along with student development. So they were there with us in person at this time for 3 whole weeks, going through 4 full days, preparing for college level math, college level English, and college in general. So we started with our first cohort of 22 students and our second cohort of 69 students. And we saw that there was great feedback from the students who went through the program, as well as great data from their outcomes in their first semester and their first year. So we knew we wanted to expand the program, but we did have some funding restrictions being on the grant. So we had a desire to serve more students, and we were trying to figure out how to do this with limitations in faculty, in space, in staff. So in 2014, we gave the students the option to review math and English or math or English. So this allowed us to serve more students specifically in the subject matter that they wish to review. We then expanded our program to 3 of our campus locations to increase access. We experimented with a 2-week model, a 3-week model, and a 4-week model. And this was all based on student feedback from student surveys we send every year. So based on this, the students said that they would like to do the 3 weeks and that worked best. The faculty also determined that was the best way to go as well. At this point, we increased our bilingual outreach efforts and our activities. We added wraparound support services, follow-ups, early alert, and student success workshops. And you can see here we continue to grow and serve more students in our community, ending with 690 students in 2016. So by expanding our outreach efforts and our program, we expanded our team. And so the college committed to allowing us to have 6 full-time classified bilingual outreach specialists, 1 full-time secretary, a counselor, an assistant director to support the program and to help the students and continue to grow this program. In the summer, we contract instructional faculty, additional counselors, and SI leaders, which are peer tutors there to assist students during their summer bridge program with math and with English and with college in general. Most of these students do work in our tutoring center, so it does provide them with an opportunity to get to know their SI leader, and then build that relationship to then go see them in the tutoring center once the semester begins. So as we worked into 2017, we scaled to all of our 5 campus locations. So when we were in person, our program is now offered at all 5 campus locations, which are spread out miles and miles apart across our valley, serving the students with the greatest need in their area. So we are taking the program to them instead of them having to come to us. Also, based on student survey feedback, we increased our options of time offerings. We now offer morning, noon, and evening options for students to take their summer break program. And we also increased our 25 and older population by doing this. And this came about as part of the student feedback on the survey that some of their parents were interested in taking the program but couldn't because of work. And so we added that option based on the student feedback. We also at this time eliminated the test-retest model before 8705 to try to see if we could assist with that process there. We added structured onboarding support to improve the students' overall experience. So now we're helping them from start to completion. And we added the free tuition program, promise program called PIEDGE, to support them and remove that financial barrier that many of our students face. And the PIEDGE program provides students with 2 years of free education at College of the Desert if they graduate from a high school located within our service area. They are required to complete the Summer EDGE program. They are required to enroll full-time in fall and spring. They have to complete a financial aid file, complete 10 hours of community service, attend a career-focused workshop. These are on networking, interview skills, and maintain a 2.0 GPA. So here we were able to serve 1,894 students in 2019. You can see from 2016 to 2017, we almost doubled the number of students we served by incorporating all of these things, the structured onboarding, the increased outreach, and the pledge, the free tuition component, which got a lot of students interested in coming to College of the Desert. So we created an outreach calendar to help support our high schools and get students into college. And we start with high school outreach application workshops and financial aid workshops. So we go into the high schools and provide all these workshops at the high schools, not right now, but we did when we could. And we also have a high school campus visit day, which is an on-site orientation that I'll go through in a little bit. That all happens at the beginning of the year. And then we transition into assisting students in the EDGE Pledge program starting April, May. The actual program takes place June through August. And then come the fall semester, we're working on follow-ups, emails, phone calls to our students, making sure that they're all good to go in their classes. We're doing community outreach, and then we start with our general workshops to get students the information they need to apply for financial aid and for the college application. So our high school campus visit day is like I said before, an on-site orientation for the students. It is offered to students during their regular high school day. So we've worked with high school districts to be able to allow the students to come to campus for a full day. It's usually on a Friday in the spring. We provide transportation for these students so they don't have to worry about that. We provide lunch for the students so they all come together from their high school to our campus and then back to their high school to end their day. We go through an academic and special program resource fair, a career party where they could do major exploration, their micro-schedule workshop, which is their student educational planning workshop with a counselor where they go through what classes they are going to register for their first semester based on their major and educational goal and how to actually register for those classes. They take a campus tour and they have lunch. They can also apply for the EDGE Pledge program during this time. And like I said, this is all during the regular high school day. So they're able to come while we're already going to be in class. So in 2020 now, adapting to the online environment that we were in this past summer, we moved all of our previously scheduled EDGE sessions fully online. We actually moved them to a 2-week session this summer that worked out really, really well. And we did that because we were able to provide more information to the students, I guess, in a less amount of time. We had more faculty that were able to assist in this format. And students seemed to really like the 2-week sessions as per their feedback. We also required students to take math, English, and student development courses all online. The math and the English were asynchronous, which they got used to after a little while. I will tell you that it took them a little bit to get used to that format. But they had a live student development class that was every day for an hour and a half. And so they had 1 live class and 2 asynchronous classes, which allowed them to see how it was actually going to be in their fall semester, because not all of their classes were going to be synchronous. Some of them were, and some of them would have been asynchronous. So we also allowed students with a high school GPA of 3.5 or higher to enroll in a summer school class instead of taking the summer bridge. So our thought was these students may be ready to go, and why not let them still be eligible for pledge, take a summer school class, get ahead just a little bit, and we're there to support them along the way in the summer. We had over 100 students do this option, and it also increased our summer enrollments. So the college level math completion, the math portion of the EDGE program, when we were in person, we did 1 room with all students, and now we are online. We were able to specifically help students who were going to be STEM majors and those who weren't. So we use Alex math software to allow the students to select by their major what they want to review when it comes to math. So we split them into Quantway and Statway, so preparing them based on their major and educational goal. They also had a one-on-one student faculty meeting during this class, so students were able to utilize their Canvas calendar to set a meeting with a faculty member, talk about what their goals are, and talk about anything that they wanted, really, and learn more about the faculty. They also went through workshops on procrastination and growth mindset. The student development portion helps students with their educational plan. Like I said before, during their my Find for Schedule workshop, students select what courses they want to take for the fall semester. But during this time, they were able to help students if they had questions about that, or if in the time where they set their courses, if that changed, because in the summer, they would have already registered for their classes. We go through financial aid, time management, and personal responsibility, the differences between high school and college, managing mental and physical health, and they also have a one-on-one meeting with the student and counselor during this time. In the English portion, they work to develop an understanding of writing an academic essay, identifying and correcting common grammar and usage errors. They apply reading strategies to comprehend academic text, understand the different writing genres across the discipline, and the basic elements of academic research, and how to establish the habits of a successful college student. So in 2020, we were able to serve a little over 1,600 students in this online format. And the yellow portion are our pledge students, and the red portion are our EDGE only students. So the EDGE only students would be students who didn't just recently graduate from high school, or students who just didn't graduate from high school in our service area. So we were very excited about that. Our goal this 2020 was to serve 2,000 students. And given the circumstances, I think we did a really good job. So we're excited about the numbers we were able to assist to get into college. We also provided a makeup session over the winter to allow students who were unable to come over the summer an opportunity to get into the program over the winter. So in the EDGE Pledge program, we serve 84% Hispanic Latino students, which is an increase of our general student population. And our success rate for our EDGE Pledge students in college level English in 2019 was just a little bit higher than our first-time college students who do not take the EDGE Pledge program. And you can see here throughout the years that seems to have been consistent with our college level English. Now for our math, it is a little bit of a different story and something we continue to work on. Our EDGE Pledge students were a little less successful than our first-time college students who did not go through the program in 2019. In 2018, they were a little more even. But we continue to work on that, helping students get through that college level math class. And for our social statistics class, the same thing. Our EDGE Pledge students were a little less successful than first-time college students. This year, 2020, helping students with the Quantway and Statway path, we're hoping to see a little bit of an increase in those numbers. So our pledge students are required to enroll full-time. So our students are 68% full-time enrolled in their units. And some of them aren't enrolled full-time, and we allow that if students work full-time, if they're in a DSPS program, or if they talk to a counselor and the counselor thinks that they should take less than full-time units to be successful, because at the end of the day, we want them to be as successful as they can. And our students complete more units in their first semester. EDGE Pledge students complete 9.5 units, as opposed to our first-time college students who didn't go through the EDGE Pledge program at 7 units, as well as units completed in their first year. In 2019, our students completed 17.2, and first-time college students who did not go through the EDGE Pledge program, 12 units. So our data is also showing that our students are persisting at a higher rate than students who did not go through the program. This right here shows our term persistence, and then annual persistence, and 2-year persistence. So our students are not only persisting from fall to spring, but they're also persisting at a higher rate from fall to fall and fall to second spring. And when we break this down by ethnicity, we are seeing that our Hispanic EDGE Pledge students are persisting at the same rate for first to second term as our non-Hispanic EDGE Pledge students. And we are seeing that our 3-year completion rate of our EDGE Pledge students is 15%, compared to first-time college students who did not go through the program of 8%. And this is adding our pledge students in 2017, showing that our pledge students had a 3-year completion rate of 14% compared to first-time college students who did not go through the program at 9%. And here's our 3-year completion rate by ethnicity. And you can see this chart, we have work to do. Here are our Hispanic pledge students versus our non-Hispanic pledge students. So like I said, every year we do send a survey to our students for feedback, asking them how we can change what they liked, what they didn't like. And so this year was very interesting being all online, and a lot of our students were very thankful to have the opportunity to have a test run, if you will, of online learning in the environment that we have at COD, which is Canvas. And so it gave us, you know, a lot of insight on how we can continue to improve that and work that into when we go back to in-person, to make sure that we're incorporating all of these student platforms that they're going to use no matter what. And our program has won some California and national awards that we thought we'd just touch on here, and leave room for any questions you may have.
Katie, I was wondering if you could share how many students are primary Spanish speakers?
Oh, I don't have that information, but I could get that information.
I noticed you had a lot of support in that specific area, and I didn't know if that was because there was a very large population of students who felt comfortable taking advantage of the program, which I thought was amazing and wonderful, or if you were just able to get a lot of support for, you know, not as predominant a number. That was really outstanding. Thank you.
Absolutely.
We have a question in the chat, Katie. Can you read?
Oh, there it is.
So it says, what have you found is your best way of communicating to your students, and is correspondence going out to them bilingual? And I'm sure you can answer that.
Yes, so we have all of our materials in English and Spanish. We have found the best way to communicate with the students is being in their high school class. Our current students, we're finding the best way to communicate with them is in Canvas. So our students who are currently enrolled, we're finding, and we created a Canvas course that they're all enrolled in, so they get updates, workshops, information. We have virtual office hours located in that Canvas shell for them to attend. But yes, all of our marketing materials are in English and in Spanish.
Yeah, and additionally, I will add that our entire team of outreach specialists that, you know, conduct the majority of the outreach to the high schools and the students, as well as they manage sort of the caseload throughout the 2 years for the students at college. They do follow-ups throughout their 2 years. That position is a bilingual Spanish position. So every single outreach specialist on the team is fluent in English and Spanish.
And then another question for the math course is, how do you deal with students that are unsure of their major? Do they have the option of skipping the math course? They do not have the option of skipping the math course. So if we have students who are undecided, they start out by talking to a counselor and or the faculty who is doing the math courses to see where they might go first. So they'll either start them in Quantway or Statway and change them so they have the option to flip through both if they need to. So they basically, usually they'll have them start in Statway, and then if they're interested in going into the STEM field after talking with a counselor, they'll move them over to the Quantway.
Now, that's as it relates to the summer bridge, right? They have to do the summer bridge preparation unless they have a 3.5 GPA or higher. In terms of actually enrolling in a class in fall, if the student's still undecided, we do not encourage them to enroll in fall. In fact, it's the opposite, right? We're like, just wait, don't enroll in a math class until you know the direction.
Are you incorporating dual enrollment in your program with these students? Or concurrent enrollment, or one of those options?
Yeah, so we do have a lot of students who did dual or concurrent enrollment come through the program. We never had an opportunity for them to not do the EDGE Summer Bridge because they already have taken college courses. But now this option for them to take the summer class instead provides that pathway for those students to keep going on their courses. So we allow those students to enroll in the summer class.
And that was a internal policy decision about not letting the dual enrollment students in, or what changed, Katie?
So yeah, go ahead, Amanda.
Yeah, dual enrollment students were always allowed to participate, but what we didn't have, because our pledge program is privately funded through donations, and the requirements were sort of vetted by the foundations that had donated, right? So we had to go through a process of allowing students not to do the EDGE program, right? So the dual enrollment students would participate in EDGE, but say they already had credit for calculus, they ended up being like a peer tutor in the classroom, right? And so giving them the option not to participate in EDGE was the question. That was the decision that we came to before they all participated and became pledge students, but they had to go through the summer bridge, even if they already had credit for those classes, in order to get the free tuition. But we don't, our dual enrollment, while it is growing, it is not consistent across our 3 districts and all of our local high schools. And so we don't have a formal integration of this program and dual enrollment because of that inconsistency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was going to go to the next question. So if you're following up on that one.
Oh, no, please. No, I was going to ask a different unrelated question. So please.
Okay. I'll go to one that's in the chat. Katie, did you notice that lowering the academic load for some of the students increased their success compared to the part-time students not in the program?
We haven't done that actual data yet, but we definitely could. And I would probably say yes, it has. But that would be a great study to find out.
Yeah, I think there's a fundamental difference between the EDGE students or the pledge students who are at less than 12 units and any other first-time in college students at less than 12 units, in that every pledge student that's less than 12 units has spoken with a counselor and determined that that's an appropriate load for them, right? And so I mean, importantly, those students, there's evidence that they would have been less successful in 12, right? And that's what led us to approve them for less than 12. All right, Katie, I know there's another question here I'll ask you. So for the community service component of the pledge program, what steps do you take or processes do you have in place to help students make service connections and to eliminate barriers associated with transportation and social capital? Are these primarily on-campus options?
Yeah, we do offer both. So we offer on-campus community service hours for people who are having events when that happen, not right now. But we also work with the animal shelters, the food banks, local churches. Students have the opportunity to attend one of our promoted volunteer opportunities, which we provide them on our website, or they can attend any opportunity that they wish. So if they are already volunteering at their church or volunteering at their school, some students already volunteer at their school, they're allowed to use that as well. So we can provide them with a lot of opportunities, and they're able to find their own as well. If students are having a hard time getting to volunteer opportunities, or they don't work with their schedule, we do allow for flexibility there. So we could allow them to do something online. We could allow them to maybe attend another workshop instead, or a few more workshops. So we never want that to be a barrier, and we are very open with our students. If this is, an issue for you, just let us know, and we're able to adjust and provide you with alternative options that might work.
All right, the next question I see, are students completing any career exploration to help them better highlight the correct educational path? If so, how early does the career exploration take place, and are students open to the idea?
Sure. So I think part of the career exploration that we do when they're with us for the high school visit day is more of a career and major exploration party. But that already happened. That happens after they apply. So they're applying, in the fall and selecting their major and then exploring those majors throughout that event. I do think that we could provide more of career exploration for our students. We do have a great career center, and students have to do a career focused workshop. So while they're in their first semester, we promote those workshops so that way they can learn more about different careers and majors when they're already in their first semester. And so that has worked really, really well because they have to attend one, and it's a great thing for them to do to learn more about the different career and major opportunities.
Yeah, and I'll add a little bit of depth to that. So Katie used the term career party, and she meant like the formal accepted workshop of the career party that allows students to choose their Holland codes in an informal setting, right? So when we say that we do the career party, we do the career party first thing. So before students have done even their selecting their first semester courses, they've gone through the career party, they've got an idea of what their Holland code would be, right? And then they're taught how to look up and use Holland codes in ONET to start exploration on their own. It's followed up in the student development section of that, that 1.5 hours synchronous course that happened last term. So that's the start. So it starts before they've even registered. It continues in the summer before they start classes. And then there's at least one more required workshop, usually conducted fall or spring. The next question I see is, curious if you have hypotheses about what is behind the gaps in 3-year completion between Hispanic and non-Hispanic pledged students. How are you thinking about addressing that?
Yeah, I think just providing more support for our students and providing them with more opportunities to speak with counselors and make sure that they're enrolled in the classes that they need to be enrolled in. Hopefully we're, the pledge program, removing that financial barrier for students will start to help students complete. And I think that hopefully that will help.
We need to look further into it. We'll be working with our Office of Institutional Research to see what other variables are correlated aside from race. So that investigation hasn't occurred yet. We just started focusing on the completion data recently because we just got our first 3-year cohort through. And so, this is a little bit new for the completion data is new for us. And so we're still teasing it out, but it would be interesting to see what other things are correlated, whether or not socioeconomic status and first generation is also correlated, and what other interventions we could do to address all 3 of those. And we do have some interventions we're going through the equity committee for. They're not really related to PIEDGE, but they're related to guided pathways in our equity committee. We are in the moment focusing on males 24 and under who identified as Hispanic on our application, because we have noticed a persistent disproportionate impact, and they are a large population at our college. All right, the next question is, you mentioned family engagement. Can you say more about that?
Sure. So we do have on our campus, we do have something we call Family Night, where we invite all of the families and anybody in the community to come to our campus and learn more about the college, about the programs. And we have a huge resource fair and dinner. And so we encourage all families and everybody to attend, specifically to our outreach efforts with parents and families. We do provide FAFSA and California Dream Act parent engagement workshops, and as well as COD application and just COD general workshops that we encourage all families to attend so they understand the process as well. We also have a commitment contract that our students have to sign, and we encourage them to have a academic support, a family member or a friend who can sign that with them, so that way they have somebody to assist them creating that network to enroll in college and complete college.
Yeah. Additionally, the overwhelming majority of our students enroll, don't come from ELL in high school and enroll directly into, English comp at the college level. So while English might not be their first language, they have no difficulty communicating in English, but our full outreach specialist team can communicate in both Spanish and English. And that skill is used most often in communicating with parents, right? So having the college be able to communicate directly with parents is important. All right, those are all the questions in the chat. If anybody would like to ask more questions, I'm not sure. I think we have 7 more minutes if you want to use them.
I have a question. Could you talk a little bit about your scaling into the high schools? I mean, are you in all the high schools of all your districts? And what are the best practices that you could identify to help other campuses who are thinking about doing this work?
Sure. So we have COD counseling leads that are assigned to each high school. So we do work with those COD counselor leads to assist us in getting into the high schools. And so we've worked really hard to create that partnership. We also have a COD counselor conference where we bring all of the high school counselors to our campus to learn what's new, what's going on, what's coming up. That has been huge with creating that connection between our campus and the high school counselors. And so now we're on a schedule where at the start of the fall semester, an email is sent to all high school counselors and to set up their workshops for the fall, for the spring, for their high school visit day. And then they just reach out to us if they need additional workshops or if they're having a parent night that they need support at that we can attend, or if there's a community event that they know about. So we've built that relationship in that manner, and it has been very successful for us. And
the framework that we started with, the relationships between counselor, those are counselor to counselor relationships that we nurture. When I switched over to being administrator, it seems like my relationships don't get past other administrators, right? But counselors get to each other. So, I mean, I think it's a best practice to let counselors develop relationships with counselors, right? And so we do have those established for all of the public high schools in our service area, including continuing education and adult schools. And we also have them established for the vast majority of private schools, right? There's probably just a couple very small private schools that don't come to our conference, but our larger private schools also have a liaison and communicate with us regularly and send their students to the high school visit days. So, I mean, it's a big effort, but it's like professional to professional, not school to school. And I think it works better, honestly, because they listen.
Thank you.
Do you have, I'm just wondering if you have any even informal data about students from your program going on into four-year college, any knowledge of their movement beyond?
Sure, we're actually just getting that data right now, and so we're very excited to see it. I think it may have come through this morning, but I didn't get a chance to look at it, Amanda. But we are expecting to get that very soon, and hopefully, you know, we can provide another session to follow up on, you know, what happens to the students after they leave.
Yes, be great.
Yeah, anecdotally, you know, we have a lot of pledge students who come back, EDGE students who came back after transferring and wanting to continue to be our peer tutors, right? We have one who I think finished up a master's even and now meets mid-quals to teach, because I guess we've been doing it a really long time. But I mean, anecdotally, it seems, well, we already know once a student actually makes it all the way through our programs, they're highly likely to be successful at the 4-year. We're not worried about them because any student that makes it through community college is most likely going to be successful at the 4-year.
That's great.
Okay, everybody, I do not mean to interrupt, but we do have to end our session so that I can start another session. If anyone has any additional questions for Katie or Amanda, I'm sure that they have no problem putting their emails in the chat so that you have a way to contact them for any additional questions. Thank you all so much for your time. This was great, and have a great rest of your day.
Go College of the Desert.